Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 11 to 15 of chapter 3. Devan bhavayatanena,
Devan bhavayatanena,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
तैर्दत्तान प्रदायैभ्यः
yo bhunkte stena eva saha,
यो भुङ्क्तेस्तेन एव सः
yajnashishtashinah santaha,
यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तः
muchyante sarvakilbishaihi,
मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः
bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापाः
ye pachantyatmakaranat,
ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्
annad bhavanti bhutani,
अन्नाद्भवन्ति भूतानि
parjanyadanna sambhavaha,
पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः
यज्ञाद् भवति पर्जन्यः,
यज्ञाद्भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last few sessions, we have been exploring this line of thought which he is presenting from the second line of this verse, verse number 12, and he'll be continuing in the next verse also. That is the different approaches towards life in terms of parasparam, that is give and take. See, in spirituality, we lay a lot of importance on these two aspects of give and take. When we use the word karma, now many people, they say that that's too technical. Some others feel that it is just a belief. But actually, what is the law of karma? It is nothing but the consequence of one force in a particular direction. That force is your own action. The action may be physical action, or it may be verbal action, which is your speech, or it may be emotions, it may be thoughts, that is emotional action, intellectual action. So, what are the consequences of your actions at all levels? So, just as we can classify actions into all these types, like physical, verbal, emotional, intellectual, we can also classify the consequences. Sometimes you may have physical consequences of your own actions. Sometimes you may have emotional consequences. So the various consequences which you face in life is all your own making. So the word parasparam is such a beautiful word which he introduced in the previous verse, and he is building this beautiful flow of thought based on that principle. Now this is something which you need to absorb if you truly want to understand life and improve the quality of your life. So parasparam, param, that is paraha, two forces. So if we split the word parasparam, we get two words, para, other. So that is the first point here. That is, there are two forces acting in life in any given situation. And those two forces are acting in opposite directions. If there is a giving, there is a taking. If there are inputs, there will be outputs. If there is a creation, there will be destruction. Actually, if you really think about it, the whole world is nothing but pairs of opposites. It is the technical term in Sanskritam language is dvandva. Dvandva means two, that is pairs of opposites. So what is interesting is many of the gods are always depicted with two opposite things. On one hand, they'll be sitting on a lotus flower which represents peace. On the other hand, they will be having some weapons which is symbolic of war. So you may wonder, how can these two things go together? What is it referring to? The pairs of opposites. Actually, if you really want to master spirituality and if you want to become a yogi, you need to learn to master this principle of pairs of opposites. See, even in spirituality, on one hand you have action. On the other hand you have meditation. So some people ask, should I act or should I meditate? You have to do both. They are no doubt poles apart. They apparently they look like as if they are totally different. But a yogi learns how to unite these two. So through this application, here he is giving the application in terms of give and take, but what you should do is, you should not stop with merely understanding these verses as they are. You should go deeper and understand the very principle, the source from which these points are being given. And that source is the opposite forces, parasparam. That is two forces acting in opposite directions. That is what is life. You have the world, which is one extreme, and you have the self, God, divinity, which is the other extreme. They look diametrically opposite. But one who combines these two becomes a yogi. You have emotions. You have logical thinking. Again, they look totally opposite. But one who learns to manage and balance these two forces, now he is a yogi. It will make him a sthita prajna. When you don't know how to balance the pairs of opposites, how to remain in balance when you're facing these pairs of opposites, your mind will keep on fluctuating. A sthita prajna is one who is firmly established in that wisdom, in that awareness. He is perfectly balanced. What makes you go off balance is one of these two extremes. Sometimes somebody will come and praise you. Sometimes somebody will come and insult you. If you're a yogi, you will remain balanced in both. But what happens normally? When a person praises you, you just get so elated. your ego gets boosted. That clouds your thinking. You get into a very highly excited frame of mind. And in that excitement, you can do anything. You may take totally wrong decisions. Similarly, when somebody comes and insults you, what happens? There the ego got elated when somebody praised you. But here, the ego gets hurt. And you may feel very sorrowful, or you may feel angry, frustrated, so many negative emotions. And you get lost in all those emotions. So in this process, you lose your balance in life. I can go on giving such examples, but you should analyze your life. You should look at your own life and see how these opposite forces are constantly occurring in your life. If you take birth, there is death. Similarly, if you take death, there is birth. They are two opposite forces of life. If there is a morning, there is a night. If there is a night, there is morning. If there is light, there is darkness. And each of these dvandvas, they try to pull you away from the middle path. They make you lose your balance. And the whole exercise in the yogic approach is to maintain that balance, is to stay in the middle. So that is what he said even in the second chapter. Yogastha kuru karmani. Yogastha means be firmly rooted in yoga. And then kuru karmani, do all your actions. Again, it looks like a contradiction. But what he's saying is, on one hand, you have to act dynamically in the world. On the other hand, maintain the state of yoga, the meditativeness. And when you learn to combine these two, when you master this, that is when you truly become spiritual. You're a yogi. So, mastery over this principle of parasparam, it looks very simple, but mastery over that can make you so powerful, and it can take you right up to the highest state of sthita prajna. So the best way to really master this is by applying this in your day-to-day life. See, I covered this earlier also, and it will keep coming again and again. Yoga or spirituality is not a form of escapism. Escapists cannot grow spiritually. Why? Because when you try and escape from life, you're not wanting to face the extremes. You're trying to avoid the pairs of opposites. You're going against nature. You will never learn any lesson. It is only when you face these pairs of opposites and learn to remain balanced as you are going through these varied experiences that you truly become spiritually mature. So it is very easy to run away from these challenges. But that is not the right way, because you can run away from the external challenges for a while, temporarily. But ultimately, the whole thing is a creation of your own mind only. How can you run away from your mind? Just imagine, you're highly stressed about something. Therefore, you take a vacation. You say, I'll go to the forest or I'll go to the woods and I'll relax. How long are you going to do that? Once that initial, the temporary phase goes away, the same stress which was there earlier will start resurfacing. Because ultimately the stress is originating from your mind. So you may try and escape from various situations of life, but you cannot escape from your own mind. So it is better to face it right now, here and now. You're constantly trying to find ways by which you can run away from conflicts. But what the great masters say is that instead of that, learn this ancient wisdom which teaches you not to run away from conflicts, but to face those conflicts and become balanced and grow spiritually. That is this yogic path. So even here, Arjuna wants to run away from this conflict. And Krishna is saying, no, that will not work. By running away from the situation, you cannot achieve anything, Arjuna. If you really want to grow, then be here. Face this conflict. Of course, you will have to equip yourself well if you want to face any challenge. And this ancient wisdom equips you with utmost strength, inner strength, to be able to face any challenge in life. See, what is the worst thing that can happen in life, according to a common man? A common person will say death. Now it is spirituality which teaches you how to face death, how to be balanced even during death. And then there are various grades of challenges. So if it can get you prepared for the highest challenge, what about other challenges? You can easily master this principle of being balanced. So paras param means he is talking of two forces acting in opposite directions. I want you to first recognize that. Now, from the standpoint of give and take, that is giving and taking, you'll find that this principle of parasparam is all the time happening in your life. In life, you're always giving something and you're taking something. Today, you may not be aware of that process. That is why you've not gained mastery. But once you become fully aware and you start doing your sadhana, now you will learn how to balance these two forces in your life. So a tamasic person is the most imbalanced person in the world. Or rather, the tamas in you causes that imbalance. So we can say that to the extent you are tamasic, to that extent you will be very highly imbalanced. To the extent you are rajasic, now that will also create imbalance. Rajas in you also creates imbalance. But that doesn't take you to the two extremes. See, actually, tamas and rajas are in many ways similar, but in tamas, you go to the extremes. In rajas, the fluctuations are little more under your control. But when it comes to sattva, it is being in a state of perfect balance. So here he is talking about a tamasic person, one who enjoys what is given by them without offering anything in return is indeed a thief. So we were seeing a few dimensions of stenaha. Stenaha means thief or robber. One who wants what belongs to others. Whenever you want what belongs to others, that causes a lot of imbalance. You don't need any big logic for this. Just look into your own mind. Whenever you compare yourself with someone, now that starts agitating your mind. You get into a state of imbalance. And when you get into a state of imbalance, you become adharmic, unrighteous. You are prepared to go to any extent in order to fulfill your selfish goals. You start looking for shortcuts. By hook or by crook, I want that. In that process, I don't mind even harming others. It's a very dangerous state. So all these qualities cause imbalance. Whenever you want something which belongs to others, whenever you are adharmic, whenever you look for shortcuts, they create a tremendous imbalance of your personality. Whatever little peace of mind which you have will go away soon. So it is very important for you to locate these dangerous qualities within you. See, it may vary. That is from individual to individual. The percentage may vary, and some people will be tamasic in one area, but they may not be tamasic in another area. So you will have to do your homework and find out how this tamas plays in your life in terms of give and take. These are all guidelines which will help you to easily locate your tamas. And he's using the strong word stenaha because tamas is such a quality which clouds you in ignorance. A tamasic person will not realize that he is in ignorance. See, a person is ignorant, and if he is aware of that, he can always gain knowledge, he can take guidance. A tamasic person is ignorant, but he believes that he is knowledgeable. Then there is no scope for taking guidance, there is no scope for improvement, basically. You will take guidance, you will seek the higher wisdom only when you become aware of your ignorance, when you become aware of your imperfections. When that awareness is not there and you're thinking everything is all right, when actually nothing is okay, then that is a very dangerous state. whenever you do something wrong, according to your own conscience, deep within you, your conscience guides you. But you keep justifying and you keep convincing yourself that everything is fine. That is a very dangerous state. That is a state of tamas. So then we saw one more dimension, that is a tamasic person has no gratitude in life. A tamasic person only keeps complaining. See, if you truly want to become a yogi, now you should start developing this feeling of thank you for every little thing which you're receiving and receiving in life, and for every little thing which you're enjoying. And if you keep on stretching it, and in an advanced stage of yoga, you will start becoming grateful for your very existence. The fact that you're breathing, what a great miracle it is. That makes you so grateful. Some people, they think that just because they are grateful towards their guru, now that's it, I'm perfect. It's not like that. The idea of asking a sadhak to practice gratitude towards one's guru is only to develop and absorb that quality of gratitude and to extend it in all aspects of life. See, who is a guru? One who selflessly gives, who gives the higher wisdom. So when someone is so selfless, and if you are ingrateful, if a student is ingrateful, then how can that person practice gratitude with respect to other things? So the great master said, first practice it there. But that doesn't mean it is restrictive. You should not stop there. Supposing, let us say, you are so grateful to your guru, but all the time you are criticizing others. Then that is of no use. Actually, it means the gratitude which you are showing even towards your guru is only situational. It is not true gratitude. Or you may do it to impress. See, some people have this weakness of wanting to impress others. So, in order to impress, you may exhibit, or that is, you may fake the gratitude and all that. So once you start feeling grateful, you will find that the list of things for which you have to say thank you is an endless list. Starting from your breath to every little aspect, you can be so grateful. Even in the worst of situations, you can always find a few things which you can feel so happy about and feel grateful for that. This is a practice which you need to really master. And when you are in a state of gratitude, you are very much balanced. When you are in a state of complaining, you lose your balance. See, everything I am relating it to balance, because that we saw, no? Ishtan, Bhogan. Yajna itself is nothing but balancing only. So when selfishness goes on increasing, then you start losing this wonderful quality of gratitude. So today it has come to that stage where we have to tell, be grateful to your parents. Actually, there is no meaning in saying that, because all that should be very obvious. But the selfishness has taken over so much that we have to say, be grateful to your parent, be grateful to your guru, be grateful to God. These things were practiced effortlessly. These are basic principles of life. So what does that show? The selfishness has increased. Life has become so much, that is so egocentric. Everybody should cater to me. This is what the master says, the Yuga Parivartana. That is, this is Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, they say that the Dharma element, the righteous element will be very less. It will start off with 25% of what it was in the best Yuga, and then it will keep on decreasing. It's all been so beautifully given out in our Puranas. So just as you go through the various yugas externally, internally also you go through those yugas. The internal time. So whenever you become very unrighteous, it means you're going through Kali Yuga within you. Whenever you're experiencing the emotion of gratitude, you're experiencing the Satya Yuga within you. Even though externally it may be Kali Yuga, you are experiencing Satya Yuga. See, as sadhaks, what we should be interested in is the internal sadhana of these principles, not mere external stories and external things. That is also true. But what is the relevance of all that in your life? It becomes very relevant when you start relating it to your sadhana. You should internalize these things. So for a real yogi, it doesn't matter whether it's Satya Yuga or Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga or Kali Yuga, because internally he has learnt to be in a state of Satya Yuga permanently. For a true yogi, external situations do not matter, whether he is in the Himalayas or whether he is in amidst the worldly activities. All these things do not matter, because he has learnt to remain very peaceful, serene, calm in any situation. So this practice of gratitude is so powerful that it can give you that peace of mind. It can make you so peaceful, calm and serene. It removes all the complaints from your system and makes you such a lovable personality. A person who is grateful is loved by everyone. Why? Because he or she is so grateful and is generating that unconditional love. Whatever you give will come back. So that is a very important dimension of stenaha, one who has no gratitude. Now, not only does a tamasic person not have gratitude, the next dimension is that a tamasic person has no empathy or identification with others. See, this is a very important dimension. I want you to focus and absorb this fully. One of the greatest qualities which a yogi exhibits is his ability to identify with others and empathize with others. Empathy means putting yourself in the other's shoes and understanding in a very deep way, identifying. See, a person who's tamasic doesn't care about others. He doesn't care about others' emotions. He says such a person is a thief. See, just imagine when someone is robbed of some possession, how much of internal turmoil that person will go through, suffering. But the person who's robbing is not bothered about all that. He's so happy, I've got this. This is the tamas. So whenever you don't care about others' emotions, it means the tamas in you is very strong. Whenever you're rude to others, whenever you're hurting others, without caring about what's happening in terms of their emotional experience, that is a very tamasic quality. A sattvic person is one who is very sensitive to others' emotions. You should learn to become very sensitive to others. But the tamas in you does not allow that. Me, myself, my things have to be fulfilled, that's all. I really don't care whether others are hurt or whether others are happy. I'm really not bothered. What kind of an attitude is that? See, some people have this habit of putting others down and then they say, I was only joking. Now, why should you joke in such a way where you are hurting others? Actually, it's not a joke. You're not actually cracking a joke. You're criticizing the other person. You're insulting the other person. You're putting the other person down, but you're putting it in the form of a joke. And what is interesting is, such people will not be able to tolerate if somebody else cracks a joke on them. They'll be very highly sensitive in a negative way, So you should look within and find out whether you have that tendency to get so caught up with your desires, your goals, your cravings, that you forget about others. You forget to notice what others are going through. It will be there in everyone in different degrees. So you just have to locate it and correct yourself there. That is the very sadhana. So the greatest of yogis, what did they do? They just simply identified with others. That's all. Different masters called this identification in by different names, like Buddha talked about compassion, karuna. Jesus Christ said love. Whether it is Krishna or if you take the Vedas, they talk about unconditional love. What is common in all these things? That is nothing but identification, empathy. Identifying with others doesn't mean you get affected by the problem of others. See, what happens is some people, in the name of love and identification, they get involved with others' problems and they interfere unnecessarily. And they agitate the other person and they also get agitated. In the name of advice, first of all, nobody asks for our advice. The true yogi never gives advice. Advice is always taken, never given. The other person has to seek and take. So you should be careful there. In the name of identification, love, empathy, many people start interfering with others' lives. See, when you go to a master, you will feel so comfortable, you will feel so happy, because what he does is he identifies with you fully, he empathizes, he gives you love. But you will never feel that he is interfering with your life. He will not come and give you unnecessary advice. See, people, they keep on advising others. You become great philosophers when others have problems. But when it comes to your own problems, all that philosophy goes for a 6. So on one hand is identification, but on the other hand there should be the detachment. You should not confuse identification with attachment and unnecessary interference in others' lives. Many people face issues with their own near and dear ones because they confuse these two things. Attachment is the opposite of love. Please understand this. When the masters say don't be attached, actually they are saying start developing true love. Attachment is when you want to control the other person's lives. In identification or empathy, you are not wanting to control the other person's life. You want to serve the other person provided that person seeks. There is a genuinity about it. Whereas when you are attached, when you are interfering, there is a ego play. And how will you know? See, you definitely, somebody will ask this question. Sir, how do I know whether I am interfering or whether I am identifying? Very simple. Whenever you empathize and identify, that will give you peace of mind. Whether the other person reciprocates or not, you will be very peaceful. Whereas whenever you interfere, whenever you are attached, now you will suffer. If the other person reacts in a negative way, which is how it will be 99% of the time, because attachment is a very sickening quality. The tendency to interfere, it puts off the other person. So they will react negatively. That will affect you. And even if the other person reacts positively, now you will still be in fear in order to maintain that. So that is a simple way of finding out whether you are truly empathizing and identifying with others or whether you are just merely getting attached and you're creating problems for yourself and for others. So once you understand this principle, there is no confusion. Lord Krishna exhibits this in the Bhagavad Gita. His own dear friend Arjuna is going through this problem, and Krishna identified with Arjuna 100%. He felt the pain of Arjuna fully. And that is why he patiently gave out this Bhagavad Gita, these great principles. But at the same time, he was very detached. In the end, he says, I have said whatever I have to say. Yatha ichchasi tata kuru. Now do whatever your ichcha is. That is what is the detachment aspect. See, when we use the word detachment, that sounds like as if there is no emotion. So that is why you should understand that detachment is the other side of love. A person who has unconditional love will automatically be detached. A person who is attached will be very selfish. Whenever you are attached, it is an ego play. I want to control that person's life. The other person should act according to what I am saying, what I think is right. Krishna never had that attitude. That's why he was able to liberally say, Yatha ichchasi tata kuru. But he gave such strong inputs that it helped Arjuna to choose the right things in life, to choose the right path. That is how a master always helps a student. When a sadhak takes the guidance of a master, the master will help the student in the best possible way through love and detachment, not through attachment and interference. So a tamasic person has no empathy, no identification. He or she will go on hurting others, because when you don't identify with others' emotions, you will keep hurting. You will keep hurting their sentiments. See, nowadays they have brought in various laws and all. The legal systems are there. They say when you hurt the sentiments of others, you will, it's a punishable offense and all that. But that is from a legal standpoint. Here we are talking about from a moral standpoint. What is the use of all the so-called sadhana which a person does? A person may go to a place of worship every day. A person may be doing various rituals, pujas, this, that, all that. But the same person is hurting others' emotions. Is that true spirituality? You should think about it. A true sadhak is one who will be very loving. So if you're attending these Sunday sessions, and if you say, Sir, I am a great sadhak, I will not give any value to that. I will say, you go back and send your family members to me. Send your spouse, send your children. They should say, you will not do that. Because one person actually told me, he said, I am this, I listen to the Yoga Sankirtans, or I am, striving to become the best sadhak and all that. I said, you bring your wife next week. I want to ask her, is a very humorous person. He said, "Adu romba risky, sir." That's a very risky thing, you're asking me to do. But it is a fact. See, if you're truly spiritual, the person who is nearest to you, who's closest to you, will be the first beneficiary, no? So if you are unable to generate unconditional love to those people who are closest to you, then what are you talking about devotion to God, love for humanity and all that? It starts from here only. So this is a yardstick with which you can measure your spiritual growth. How much are you identifying with others? How much are you empathizing with others? Incidentally, when you develop this quality of empathy, you will become the world's best communicator. Because ultimately, what is communication? Communication is talking in a way that the other person can understand, not in a way that you can understand. Many people think just because they just pass on the information, now they've communicated. No. A good communicator expresses that whatever information which he is giving in such a way that the other person will understand. And what will help you to understand the other person? It is identification and empathy. So that is an incidental benefit. When you practice this, you will become a great communicator. And when you are able to communicate effectively, then what happens? Others will start cooperating with you. What do I mean by effective communication? See, some people will understand the language of intellection. Some people will understand the language of emotions. You need to know, you need to have the clarity. For some people, using examples will be helpful. For some people, giving some personal life incident may help. See, it just varies from situation to situation, from person to person. You can't have a standard template for this. But when you don't have the clarity, where you need to use intellection, you will talk in an emotional way. Where emotions will work, you will talk logic. It will be total confusion. Why? Because of this lack of empathy. So, stenaha is one who does not identify with others. It's a very highly tamasic quality. So, again, look within. These are all not absolute qualities. It's not that you will be 100% tamasic or you will be 100%. It's not like that. Everyone will have a little bit of all this. The proportion will vary. And so once you locate that, start developing identification. First with your immediate family, and then you expand it further till you start loving this entire universe, and then that love becomes universal. That is what is true devotion. It will lead to devotion to the infinite. Love and devotion are one and the same. When it is with respect to the world, we call it love. When it is with respect to God, we call it devotion. So a person who doesn't know even to love his or her own family, how will he be able to love God? Your family or somebody who is standing there in front of you, you are able to see that person, but you are unable to love unconditionally. So if you are unable to love a person whom you are able to see, how can you love God whom you are unable to see? So all that is meaningless, just empty words. So in the yogic approach, we don't believe in mere empty words. We have to live every little thing, every little principle. So this is a very important dimension of tamas, and you need to strive to overcome that. So along with your Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, you should pay attention to this. Actually, if you do your Yoga Sankirtan sadhana properly, it will automatically increase your unconditional love. You will start identifying with others. You will start developing so much of love and detachment. I am deliberately bringing in the detachment because love is always misunderstood as attachment. And whenever we say detachment, people think no emotions. It's not that. So a sadhak is one who is loved by others. And why is he loved by others? Because he loves everyone unconditionally. So whatever you give will come back to you. A tamasic person is one who will not empathize, identify or love anyone, but he will expect all others to love him or her. Just the opposite. For everything in life you have to pay a price. A tamasic person doesn't want to pay the price, but he wants the benefit alone. So this is one important dimension of stenaha. Now, another important dimension of stenaha, instead of saying stenaha, we'll say tamasic person or tamasic quality, because everyone has this tamas within himself or herself. So another important aspect is, see, whenever a person is tamasic, basically he only wants to take. We have seen that in a general way. Now we'll go into more specifics. He never wants to give. He wants to get all the benefits, but he doesn't want to do anything in return. Why? Because he has no gratitude. There is no feeling of thank you. He doesn't identify with others. All these qualities will automatically lead to this state where a person just simply wants to enjoy the benefits but doesn't want to give back anything in return. That is a very dangerous state. Because if a person doesn't want to give back anything in return, then that will deteriorate into causing harm to others, causing harm to the world, and enjoying all the benefits through that. The intention, the bhavana matters. See, if you really think about it, you receive so much in life and it is impossible to repay. Practically impossible to repay for everything. All of us were born as babies who, and we were unable to take care of ourselves, no? Our parents took care of us. Somebody, even changed our nappies. Just think about it. Is it possible to repay for all that? Can you say, oh, you did this, okay, take this much amount and go. Is it possible to say that? How can you really repay for the love which someone has given you? it is really mind-boggling. If you think about it, so much we have taken and it is impossible to repay. So what is the best repayment? Recognizing and saying thank you, that is a repayment. I am only explaining the logical sequence. After gratitude and identification, if you practice those two, it will automatically take you to this state where you'll start looking for opportunities in life to repay as much as possible. One great thinker, he said, service is the rent which you pay for occupying this earth. It's a beautiful statement. Service is the rent which you pay for occupying this earth. All the great masters said, one who is good in terms of repaying, that person is most advanced spiritually. So again, it is not a business-like thing. Oh, so you have done so much, now I will repay you. It's not like that. It has to be backed with that feeling of gratitude, identification and love. That's why I first covered those two dimensions and then I'm talking of repayment. So a tamasic person just wants to take. He does not want to repay. Why doesn't he want to repay? Because there is no gratitude, there is no identification, there is no empathy. He will take all the benefits from a person and then just like that walk away. Being opportunistic. An opportunist is a person who is very tamasic. Being opportunistic is the worst thing you can do because you're using the other person and then leaving it at that. See, if you see the great yogis, they are all so humble, they are all so simple people. And supposing you just simply listen, let's say a yogi gives out some aspect of this wisdom and you just listen to him, he'll say, thank you so much. Now, as if you have done him a favor. I have seen this with many great yogis, They are so selfless, they keep on giving and then they say thank you, thank you. One great yogi, he used to say thank you to all the people who used to come to him for help. Anybody who comes for help, he used to serve them, he used to give them a lot of clarity, knowledge, wisdom and then say thank you so much, thank you so much. So one day someone asked him, Are, you are giving the wisdom and they are benefiting and you are saying thank you to them. Why is that? He said, no, I am genuinely so thankful because they have given me this opportunity to serve. I am thankful not only to those people, I am also so thankful to God that God has provided me this opportunity to serve these people. Just imagine the purity, the level of purity of that yogi, See, he is so selfless, he is all the time with unconditional love, helping others, and then in a very humble way, thanking the other person, you have given me this great opportunity to serve, I thank you so much. That is the level of purity of not only that yogi, he expressed it, But all the great masters have that quality. See, in the yogic rules, that is the rules given to the yogis, it is always said that you should not keep on taking without repaying. That's why the great masters, they keep meditating and they keep giving healing without others even asking. Why? Because that is the way they repay back to to everyone, to humanity. Sometimes you may take from someone and you may not have the opportunity to repay that person. But when you serve another person, you are actually repaying. See, these are all, this is like an accounts book, you may take here and you may repay here, there. It's all these things happen. So it is the bhavana. When you have that pure attitude, that is what is real spirituality. So a tamasic person has no thought of repaying. He just wants to take. That's why he says stenaha, robbing. A person who, see, what is the difference between robbing and rightfully purchasing something? When you are robbing, you want to take, but you don't want to give. Whereas when you purchase something, you are giving and then you are taking it. That is what is the difference. So a sattvic person is extremely grateful. He identifies with others, has so much of unconditional love with detachment, and looks for opportunities where he can keep on repaying to everyone. Repaying to existence, repaying to life itself. That is the true spirit of a yogi. He doesn't stand on a higher pedestal and say that, now come on, take it, I'm giving. Never. He's so humble and grateful towards each and every one whom he meets, and even towards those people whom he has never met. So it is a very important dimension. See, as the negative part, that is the tamasic aspect, is being given, I'm also giving you the opposite of that, which is what you are supposed to focus on and develop. When the tamasic aspects are being listed out, you understand them with clarity and you locate that within yourself. But then as a sadhana, practice the opposite of that, which is also being explained. Like, for example, practice gratitude, practice empathy, identification, unconditional love with detachment. Actually, there is nothing like unconditional love with detachment. Love itself includes detachment. But I am only adding those two to make it more clear. And then develop this attitude of repaying. If you really think about it, we cannot give anything, because we have already taken so much. So the so-called giving or charity and all that is nothing but repayment only. Okay, so we will stop with that here. It's a very powerful principle which has been explained. We've seen 2-3 dimensions today of stenaha. So you think about them, you reflect on them, and see how you can practice the opposite, the higher principles. Just practice it a little bit and see. See how much of peace and happiness it starts giving you. As later on he says, even a little bit of this practice will give you enormous benefits. Okay, so before the Nididhyasana, I will take up one question. The question is, background. I understand that blind faith in the Guru is an integral part of spiritual growth, and I believe I am stuck there. If I am being honest, I find that very hard. There are so many things that I don't believe, with due regards and respect for all the efforts put in. So the actual question is, for instance, I can't help wonder how the discourse materials are personally energized. I use the same material between two phones. So does it mean the energy is divided? How does it really work? And another question also, that's all related. There are two questions. So if I don't have complete blind devotion, how much of spiritual growth is hindered? Is it mandatory for spiritual growth? And the related question is, what does it actually mean that you have to give healing when we meditate? What does that mean? It's a very important question which the sadhak has asked. First of all, what you have said is that you have said, I understand that blind faith in the Guru is an integral part of spiritual growth. Now, who said that? Nowhere in the scriptures have they said that you should have blind faith towards Guru or God also. Faith is different, blind faith is different. See, there is a very beautiful question which has been asked, and I appreciate that frankness. Because it's only when you ask questions you can really understand things in a deeper way. Because then the master will be able to explain, it in a more deeper way, and your understanding will deepen. So you should primarily differentiate between faith and blind faith. Faith is a belief in something based on reasoning, based on logic. Blind faith is, there is no logic at all. For example, now let's say you want to construct a building. Now you will go to a civil engineer, and the it may be a team. There will be a civil engineer, there will be a structural engineer, and they will put all those, they will create the diagrams for you, understand your needs, and they will tell you this is how this house can be built. Now, the structural engineer decides, if for this building, this is where the pillars have to be there, and that will support the structure. The foundation should be done in this way. Now you have faith in that. You say, fine. So what is that faith based on? It is based on logic and reasoning, because you know that that person is qualified in that field. So based on that, you develop a faith. That is true faith. That will elevate you, that will give you benefits. Blind faith is there is no reason, logic, nothing. Simply somebody says something and you start believing it. So nowhere in the scriptures it is said you should have blind faith towards your Guru. if a person says, believe me blindly, then that person cannot be a true guru. See, in our scriptures, they actually encourage questions. Bhagavad Gita is in the form of question and answers only. Arjuna does not blindly believe Krishna. He questions, no? He asks. You go to the Upanishads, again it's in the form of question and answers only. And in one of the verses, Krishna gives the various qualities of a student. He says, pranipatena, means complete surrender. It looks like blind faith. Next quality he says is pariprashnena, questioning. Because unless you learn to question and understand the logic, your faith will become blind faith. Blind faith will not help you to grow spiritually. A true guru will not encourage blind faith. So the fundamental understanding which you are having that blind faith in a guru is an integral aspect of spiritual growth and all that itself is wrong. True faith will help you. I'm sure you understood the difference. Now, based on that wrong thing, you ask the next questions. The other serious. I can't help wonder how the discourse materials are personally energized. Now, similarly, if I don't have complete blind devotion, how much of spiritual growth is hindered? If you don't have blind devotion, your spiritual growth will not be hindered at all. If you don't have devotion only, it will be hindered. And then you asked, what does it actually mean that you have to give healing when you meditate? See, all those can be technically explained. Like for example, energizing the sadhana materials and all that. Now, that is an ancient science of, which deals with the principle of vibrations. That I will explain it in other contexts, whatever you have asked. It will come. But the primary basis of all these questions is that you misunderstood faith and devotion as blind faith. First, I am giving you the answer to that. The other things we will see later. So I want you to think about this. Have faith, but don't have blind faith. Without faith, your life will become very miserable. See, right now, you're sitting in a room and watching this. How do you know that the roof will not fall down? You have a faith that roof will not fall. That's why you're happily sitting and listening to this. I hope I have not infused unnecessary fear in your mind, but just think about it. The speaker is talking because he has a faith that the roof will not fall down. You're listening because you have the faith that your roof will not fall down. But it's not blind faith because we know certified engineers have built this. So, without this basic faith, we cannot survive at all. We cannot take the next action. Even sleep is based on faith only. If you don't have faith that you will wake up the next day, you will not be able to sleep peacefully. You will be afraid to sleep. You are sleeping only because you have that faith that you will wake up. It is very interesting. It is faith which simplifies our life, which takes us forward in life, which makes us do creative things. But blind faith is a hindrance. Okay, so today I have taken up that basic principle. You think about it, come back with your points. If required, I'll explain this further also. The other questions will be answered in due course whenever that context comes. Okay, so now we'll do the Nididhyasana, meditation, Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. I am not this physical body. I am not the pranas. I am not these various emotions and thoughts. I am that infinite, supreme reality. From this moment onwards, I choose to be dharmic, righteous, full of gratitude, identification, empathy, and unconditional love. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today we saw some very powerful dimensions of stenaha. So the idea is for you to root them out of your personality and get established in the opposite of those. So your sadhana is to reflect and go deep within you and create a transformation. In the next session, we will be continuing further. It will be very interesting because after going deep into this tamasic aspect, then we'll be seeing the rajasic aspect with respect to give and take. And then the sattvic aspect also. Then your picture will become complete. Okay. And as you know, the Yoga Sankirtan empowerment is going to be in the end of March from 24th. So 6 powerful empowerments. Sri Hanumat Dhyana empowerment is going to be given for the first time. I think the details have already been shared with you. So what is important is that you need to consistently do your daily sadhana to benefit maximum from these empowerment courses. That part of it you should only do. Okay, so already the healing has started. There is a preparatory healing energy is being sent to you. So the moment you register and commit, from that moment you will start receiving that healing energy, the special healing energy. And that will create so much of positive effects in your life. Okay, so I'll see you in the next session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.